the Heiress of Shadows. Harper Blackwood never liked cases that involved the wealthy elite. They always felt like intricate puzzles, designed to trap the unwary in a web of lies, half-truths, and danger. Yet, when the call came through from the van der Velde family, she couldn't resist. The heiress, Vivian van der Velde, had gone missing under mysterious circumstances, and the family was willing to pay handsomely for her return. Vivian was the only child of the powerful van der Velde dynasty, an old family with a long history of control over both business and politics. The name alone was enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. The heiress had been missing for 3 days now, and no one seemed to know where she had gone. Harper knew there were secrets buried under all that wealth, secrets that no one was willing to share. But that was what Harper did best: uncover secrets. The investigation started at the van der Velde mansion, a sprawling estate perched on the cliffs overlooking the city. Harper had been briefed on Vivian's last known whereabouts. She had been at a gala the night before she disappeared. Harper had a good feeling that everything led back to that night, and she wasn't wrong. The gala. The night of the gala had been extravagant, the kind of event that only the elite could pull off. Harper had heard rumors about the van der Veldes, whispers about dark dealings and family secrets that no one dared speak aloud. It was the kind of gathering where masks weren't just worn for show. They were a necessity to hide the true nature of the guests. Harper had managed to secure an invitation, using her connections in the investigative world. She had hoped to blend in, observe, and gather information. What she hadn't expected was to find Vivian's personal diary left behind on the floor of a grand ballroom. She had found it by accident while making her way toward the exit, where a few staff members had been cleaning up. The leather-bound journal felt heavy in Harper's hands. It was clearly something of great value to its owner, and yet Vivian had left it behind. Harper opened the first page, half expecting it to be filled with the usual ramblings of a privileged young woman. Instead, the entries were haunting, filled with references to secrets hidden within her family's wealth, mysterious strangers who'd threatened her life, and a creeping sense of fear. But what caught Harper's eye was the last entry. It was dated the night of the gala, just hours before Vivian's disappearance. "I'm not safe here anymore. The people I trusted have lied to me. I need to leave. I've made arrangements, but I don't know who to trust anymore. I fear I'm being watched." Harper's heart raced. This was the breakthrough she had been waiting for, but it only deepened the mystery. Vivian had clearly known something, and it had driven her to flee. But who was she running from? Deception and lies. Harper started by interviewing the people who had been closest to Vivian at the gala, including her fiancé, Lucas Cavendish, a young, charming man who had been the heir to a competing fortune before he'd proposed to Vivian. He was the picture of politeness, but there was something about him that Harper didn't trust. His smile was too perfect, too rehearsed. He claimed not to know where Vivian had gone, but his eyes darted nervously whenever the topic was raised. "Vivian is just being dramatic," Lucas said, his voice smooth but with a sharp edge. "She's always been prone to these little moods. She probably just needed some space. She'll be back." Something about his dismissive tone sent a chill down Harper's spine. There was a coldness to his demeanor, a sense of something darker beneath the surface. But Harper couldn't push him too hard. Not yet. She needed more information before she made her move. Next, she visited the family lawyer Jonathan Fields. He was a middle-aged man, his face lined with the weight of decades spent managing the affairs of one of the wealthiest families in the country. At first, he had been cordial, but his attitude quickly shifted when he realized Harper wasn't just there for a simple chat. "I don't know anything about Vivian's disappearance," he said, his eyes narrowing. "If you think I'm hiding something, you're mistaken. I've been with the family for 20 years, and I've always been loyal." Harper had heard this before. Loyalty was often a code word for cover-ups. But she pressed on, asking about Vivian's relationship with her father, Gregory van der Velde, the family patriarch. Gregory van der Velde was an imposing figure, a man whose wealth and power could crush anyone who stood in his way. Yet, despite his presence, Harper knew that he was a man who had learned to hide his emotions well. When she asked about Vivian's disappearance, his expression remained stoic, but Harper noticed the faintest flicker of something. Fear? Guilt? It was too quick to be certain, but it was there. She was upset with me, Gregory admitted after a long pause. But I didn't think she would leave. We had some disagreements, but nothing that warranted this. This drama. Harper sensed there was more to the story. Gregory Vandervelde wasn't the type of man to admit to any vulnerability, let alone fear. Vivian had to have uncovered something about her family's empire, something they didn't want to get out. But what could it be? The darkest secrets. Harper had now been digging for days, and the puzzle was starting to come together. Vivian's diary had mentioned someone named Drake, a shadowy figure who appeared to have been involved in the Vandervelde family's most hidden dealings. Harper's search led her to a series of old documents, buried deep in the Vandervelde estate archives. She uncovered evidence of illicit deals, money laundering, and shady partnerships with powerful figures, people who would stop at nothing to protect their interests. But there was one final piece that shocked Harper to her core: the discovery of a secret ledger detailing the disappearance of several women over the years. Each of them had been connected to the Vandervelde family in some way, either as employees or associates, and each had vanished without a trace. Vivian had been investigating these disappearances, and she had uncovered something much darker than Harper could have imagined. As Harper pieced everything together, she realized the chilling truth. Vivian hadn't just run away. She had been silenced. The final confrontation. Harper made her way to the Vandervelde mansion once more, her heart pounding with the weight of everything she had uncovered. It was time to confront the family. Gregory and Lucas were waiting for her when she arrived. The air between them was tense, and Harper could feel the heaviness of the secret that loomed over them. "I know what happened to Vivian," Harper said, her voice steady but firm. "And I know why she had to disappear." Gregory's eyes hardened. "You don't know what you're dealing with, Miss Blackwood. You have no idea what's at stake." "It's over," Harper said, her voice cutting through the tension. "I've uncovered the truth, and the world will know what you've done." But before she could say another word, Lucas stepped forward, a twisted grin spreading across his face. "You think you've won?" he sneered. "Vivian's disappearance was the least of your problems." Harper's mind raced as the realization hit her like a ton of bricks. Lucas had been the mastermind behind it all, orchestrating the disappearances and silencing anyone who got too close. Vivian had been the last person standing in his way, and now Harper was too. With a sudden motion, Lucas lunged toward her, but before he could reach her, Gregory intervened. The family patriarch looked at his son with cold, steely eyes. "You've gone too far, Lucas," he said, his voice quiet but filled with disgust. "It's time to end this." With one swift motion, Gregory pulled a hidden gun from his coat pocket and fired it at Lucas, the shot echoing through the mansion's hallways. Lucas crumpled to the floor, his life extinguished in an instant. Harper stood frozen, unsure of what had just transpired. The truth had been revealed, but at a great cost. She had unraveled the dark web of deceit, but she had also witnessed the destructive power of greed, betrayal, and power. And now Vivian's story was over. The heiress had been a victim of a world she couldn't escape, and the only thing Harper could do was ensure that the truth would never be buried again.